Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tony the Technician channel. And today we're going to be going into some different styles of Allen bits. The only thing I really don't have here are T-handles. I had T-handles previously from Matco and I just didn't find myself using them, so I no longer have them. My most commonly used Allens are either the bit sockets or the Allen keys, so that's what I have here, and just kind of some variations of their layouts and possible ways to use them. But other than that, we're going to be really getting into this new set of Wise Allens, and this is a double ball end Allen wrench key set, and it's really nice. So I want to share it with you guys, but first I want to kind of go into some of the different variations of these Allen keys and what you might have available to you. So there's a lot of manufacturers out there today, so you have a lot of different options, but when it comes to steel material, you're really going to come up with either S2 or chrome vanadium. Those are going to be the two most popular. And when it comes to bits like this, it can be very hard to find bit sockets that are of good quality and don't break. And bit sockets are really the only style of Allens or Torx that I do break. Because of their design, you can apply more pressure to them or more torque to them. Makes it more likely for them to break over something like this or something like this, where you can only apply really so much torque. And then when it comes to S2 and chrome vanadium, it's really personal preference. One is harder than the other. S2, I believe, is harder than chrome vanadium, but chrome vanadium is more forgiving, I should say. It has more of a tendency to flex than S2, where it is harder, stronger, but more likely to shatter. So whenever you look at your Allens, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, you will find either S2 imprinted on them, like here, or you will find chrome vanadium, unless it is impact rated. Then I would stick to chromoly. But other than that, these are Matco bits up here, and these are S2. Here I have Matco USA made Allen keys. So just some of the different variations. You have Allen bits like this or like this. Then you have bit sockets such as this style here, where you can get a variation of different lengths and styles, ball ends, long, short, stubby. And really, when it comes to the steel preference, it's really up to you. But when it comes to bits like this, it really doesn't make that much of a difference just because of the length on them. As long as they're short, they tend to hold up a little bit better. Whereas obviously if you have something longer like this, it is more prone to breaking. So S2 being more likely to shatter, you would break something like this if you applied too much torque, which you would still do with chrome vanadium, but it's more likely to twist and you might catch that before it breaks. So there are pros and cons to each style, but that's really up to you. So besides bit sockets like this or impact rated, you also have Allen keys like this, which are very popular. You can also get little sets like this, and then T-handles. That's really the variation of Allen type tools that you'll see. And then obviously you can get them with the bits either on a miniature ratchet, or you can get them for ratcheting screwdrivers, and there's a lot of different layouts like that. So I just kind of wanted to show those real quick before getting into these double ball end wrenches. So to get into these, this is made by Wise, part number Whiskey Bravo Papa -2900 Lima Lima, and it is made in Japan. So another Japanese tool here, very high quality, very nice finish, and the ball end on the bottom and top are of different designs, so you get more angle with one than the other. So here on the long end, you will get a total of 32 degrees worth of angle to move the Allen key. And then for the short end, you get a 20-degree angle. And the other nice thing about this, which it has its pros and cons, is it does have a much shorter turn here, so you can get into a lot tighter spaces. Whereas something like this or this, you have a much longer end, which is fine because you can still get into a fairly decent amount of spaces with this length, but it's just nice for those extreme tight spots, especially with the ball end. So you have a very versatile tool here. The only downside to these that I can think of is not being able to get a lot of leverage when using this end of the Allen key and only having this to turn it. Well, they do have a set. They have a lot of different varieties with ball ends, without ball ends, and with a special adapter tool that allows you to attach to the top of some of the Allen keys, and it provides you more leverage on the tool. So I'll post a picture up in here for you guys to see that. And then that's really all the information that I can really give you on the back, besides the hardness, HRC 60 plus or minus 1, and then the sizes here 1.5 through 10. This is the metric set, and once again, made in Japan. If you guys are interested, I will have a lot of the products linked down in the description under the tools link, so it is down there for you. So besides looking at those, so here you get your standard plastic casing, and they are color coded. So 1.5 being a brown, and then you move into reds, orange, purplish, pink, green, blue, silver, and brown, for the largest being 10 millimeter. We'll pull out the 10 just because it will be easier to see the designs of this. So on the top, like I showed before, on the angled end, you get 20 degrees worth of angle with that. It does have a flat head here that allows you to really get down into the Allen head and still get full strength. You really get a good grip on that Allen head and you can still sink down way in there. Whereas this end, you're going to have more of an angle, but you're going to have less surface on the bottom of that Allen. Not that it's going to make a big difference, especially if you're using it at that extreme angle of 32 degrees. But that is the two design differences between this end and this end. They are a kind of a brushed chrome instead of being like a black oxide or anything like that. So it does have a nice clean look, and I do like the color coded part. Here you will see 10 millimeter part number for each one, WISE, Japan. So that is indicated on each and every one of them. So overall, a very high quality. I haven't used them much. I used them a little bit on plugging some coolant ports on my engine, as well as installing my new thermostat housing on the Camaro, and they worked very well. The fitment is very nice. Haven't had any issues with that. And once again, I really like the stubby feature up here at the top. So we will go ahead 6 millimeter out, and I'll show you kind of the angles that you can reach with this. So there's the 32 degree angle of rotation here, and then the 20 with the top portion. And then I'll just show you kind of how common, even on my 85 Camaro, I still have a lot of Allen fasteners due to some of the things that I've installed: valve covers, plugs, the Phytech EFI that I'm running. A lot of miscellaneous items around my car are actually still Allen heads. So they are very common, and this is very nice for a mechanic or a DIYer. So the pricing for Allen's really varies, and that's going to be anywhere from like $5 for a small set of little Allen keys, you know, being like a no-name generic brand, all the way up to, you know, Matco and Snap-on. Whereas a Matco set like this, just for this set alone, it's going to be around $40 to $50. It is made in the USA. It is a very nice set, but it doesn't have a ball end, and which isn't a big deal all that often, but it is nice to have both options. So this is a very nice set, and this is actually probably my most commonly used set, just because I keep it right in the top of my toolbox that I always have open. So I'm always grabbing these just because they're the easiest to grab. But when it comes to purchasing these, it really depends on how you feel about Allen keys. If you've used them a lot, you know it can be frustrating finding a good set, especially of bit sockets that are going to survive its use. When they're very cheap, you come across ones that twist and break very easily, even if they are S2 or chromoly. Some of the cheaper ones can break very easily. And that's not to say that the more expensive ones don't, because any of them can break. I know a lot of horror stories where people have spent a lot of money on an Allen set hoping to get better quality. Well, they are obviously better quality, but it's still really hard to find Allen key or Allen bit sockets that survive the torture of some necessary work. So you really have a couple of options. You can either find a nice set with a warranty that you know can be replaced if they do break, or you go find yourself a cheap set that you might not mind needing to replace if you find yourself using them pretty often. Other than that, I've broke more bit sockets than anything else. Like I stated earlier, it's just more prone to breaking just because of the amount of torque that you can apply to them. So once again, besides like the $5 little sets that you can find at like Walmart, and not counting those like $3 little tool sets that you get like a 10-year-old, the miscellaneous like Taiwan made ones are going to range from $15 to $25. Once again, the Matco being $40 to $50. The Wise is also going to run around $50. That also depends on which set you get. Like I said, they have a lot of different variety of sets, a different number of Allen keys included, and then adapter tools and everything as well, with or without the ball end feature. And overall, I think it's priced really well, especially with its quality compared to a lot of other competitors in the same quality range. So made in Japan, once again, always really good quality and finish. And as far as the 3 projects I've used this set on, they worked very well. I haven't twisted any of them. You do have good length here on these compared to other sets. So it is a nice set. The largest one coming in at 9.5 inches, the shortest one coming in, the 1.5 millimeter, coming in at roughly 3 inches, just a hair over 3 inches. So once again, that's a quick look at this Wise Allen key set, double ball end with 32 degrees on one end, 20 degrees on the other, and just kind of comparing it to some of the others available. If you guys have any questions about any of these sets, whether that be pricing or my thoughts on how well some of them have held up or anything like that, feel free to drop it down in the comments. I have a wide variety. I have DeWalt, Gear Wrench, Matco. This is an old set from my great grandfather from Ideal. And then I have Nyko, which this is probably one of the only products that I've actually haven't had an issue with through them. You know, off-brand mole work, Taiwan made stuff. But once again, when it comes to something like this with short bits, you're not really going to run into that issue of breaking anything quite as easily as you are with something else. Gear wrench, and that's basically it. But if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down in the comment section of your guys' thoughts or what brand you went with for Allen keys and how well they held up for you. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. See you guys next time.